published so we can see where the influence might be?
It is published, but it really isn't anywhere clear enough and easily accessed to the public. In other words, the Federal Election Commission records do publish it. I've introduced the only bipartisan campaign finance reform bill with Lisa Murkowski, and what we have said is that any donation of a significant amount, I think we chose $200, has to be disclosed in real time. In other words, in real time, so that, heaven forbid, you'd actually know who made a donation before you went and voted. And that's one of the most anti-democratic practices today in American government, is that we all vote. It's something we regard as sacred, and yet this November, people really didn't know who was supporting, particularly with these super PACs and all these other organizations, some of the candidates and elected officials. So Lisa Murkowski, Republican senator from Alaska, and I have supported legislation. She's the only Republican to sign on to a bipartisan bill to support an effort to disclose in real time the donations. And I think, because I've got to get this meeting, I want to leave you with one last thought. I'll visit with some folks afterwards. I'm sure you walk out of here disagreeing with me on one subject or two subjects, or maybe you walk out of here and say, this guy really doesn't know much about anything. And that is your constitutional right. That's what's so great about our system of government. You have elections, and you think that, you get to make changes. I understand that. And I'll tell you, I do not have all the answers. I can cast a vote at 11 o'clock in the morning on the floor of the Senate, and at 12:30 I will get a call from Nancy B. Wyden, my spouse, saying, you sure blew that one, Buster. That was a bad vote. And very often she'll tell me why, and she'll make a lot of sense. I don't have all the answers. What I will tell you is, as long as I have the honor to represent you in the United States Senate, what an incredible honor this is. I grew up desperately wanting to play in the NBA. It was a ridiculous theory. I went to college on a basketball scholarship, but I was too small, and I made up for it by being slow. Never growing up, ever, did I think that someone like myself, a first-generation Jewish kid with a face for radio, would have this opportunity, this privilege, this honor to represent you in the United States Senate. So as long as I have this honor, this is the way we're going to do it. This was town hall meeting number 711. That means 711 times we pretty much just threw open the doors. And luckily we had Shemia to keep any riots from breaking out. But as long as I have the honor of doing it this way, this is part of how I show Oregon that I'm serious about transparency. It's not everything. But whether it's TPP or timber or Medicare or the question of health care mandates or what have you, this isn't the last discussion. This is one of the first of this year. And I can assure you we're going to do this again and again and again. I understand how people feel about what's going on in Washington, D.C. Popularity numbers indicate that the senators are sort of down to blood relatives at this point in terms of support. So on my watch, this is the way we're going to do it. We're just going to throw open the doors of government. We're going to continue this discussion. Thanks for coming out.